May all graces of Buddhas, Maha-Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Maha-Bodhisattvas, Pacceka Buddhas, Maha-Pacceka Buddhas, Arahants, Maha-Arahants, the grace of Luang Por Posi Surya Khemarato, all embodiments of the graces of the great perfections, the grace of fathers and mothers of all lifetimes. Please hold the space for all of us. All the behaviors with karma, physical, verbal, and mental, that we have used with opinions and meanings, taking things into account, whether it's rejecting or accepting or neutral, it's still karma. All the karma of rejecting the graces, rejecting their way of blessing, the form of their blessing, having aversion in their way of blessing, creating oneself to circle around opinions and meanings, negativity, positivity, and neutrality, on and on endlessly, unable to open the heart of the great compassion to shine through all and everything without judgment. We humbly declare removal and cancellation of all deluded fixation to judgment, to all ideas, concepts of life, lifestyles, belief values, traditions, customs, dogmas. We humbly declare removal and cancellation of all deluded desires and expectations towards relationships with fathers, mothers, husbands and wives, sons and daughters, friends, relatives, enemies, those we like or we don't like, societies at large, countries, nations, territories, all possessions, body and mind, and everything. May all karma of the burdens in using opinions and meanings be released from now on and forever. Ahosi, Ahosi, Ahosi. Great compassion, compassion. We can assume it up. We all have great blessed fortunes and perfections, merits, goodness, the goodness that is not fixated to itself. All these power is the power, can be shared. It's something that we all have. Whether we are humans or non-humans, we all have this. And if it's accumulated more and more, it will be exploded. And it happens all the time among all of us, humans, non-humans. The humans are running around doing this and that, entertaining oneself, make oneself comfortable, running around for that on ends. That is the explosion of the merit, great bliss, fortunes, and goodness. Running to help at the physical level is something. It seems to be good, looks good, but it's accumulated more merit to oneself. It makes oneself happy, seems to be happy, content, but unrealized that all the merits, great bliss, fortune, and perfections cannot be held in, because one will just running around endlessly to help others at that level, thinking that that is one's own kindness. Let's go beyond that. Sharing and showering, scattering the infinite power, which is from goodness that doesn't hold on to itself. The goodness that is not fixated to itself. The merits that is stored endlessly. Let's share that. Let's not accumulate more of that. It's not helpful. It looks good and makes oneself contented and happy when you help someone, or when you do donations or whatever. It's on the surface. Samsara is doing that. We do more, we give more, we share more. That means giving something that is ungraspable, something that is unattachable, without trace, without having to run around trying. Here now, open up, let out all the merits, great bliss, fortune, and perfections, and all goodness in the form of this infinite power, because it's not about anything. No one can own anything. It seems like possible to own the merits. Let's have more. That's a realm of existence in itself. That is samsara. It's circling. Samsara means circling. Circling for grasping more. That is samsara. You want to be samsara? Go ahead. Be the burden. But here now, we do the opposite. We share and give constantly something that is divine and infinite, which is not being finite or infinite. It's not about anything. That's when it can clear all grasping minds of samsara. This is planting the seeds, the Buddha seeds, the infinite power into the land of samsara, into all souls. This is not about wishing to become in good place after passing. This has nothing to do with oneself. Just for the sake of oneself, that's not okay. We're not here just to liberate, but to use liberation as a medium to share to all. The so-called liberation doesn't exist because it's meaningless in itself. Therefore, this recognition when one realizes it can be opened and scattered to all at all times. This will purify all types of minds, all types of projecting minds, because it's stuck there, wanting or not wanting, liking or disliking. This is right, this is wrong. This is so-so. Cut this, cut that. Disengage from this, disengage from that. Endless projecting. Let's open further than all those dualities from all the projecting minds, all the grasping minds. Even not grasping, that is projected, is still grasping. So go further than here. Everything is not about this or about that or about anything whatsoever. Widely open, without focus or having any target or destinations. The mind, or the add-ons of the mind, actually, likes to rely on something and it feels secure. And so it's always having this pattern of dependence, relying on something. That is projecting. จิ้งจ้องต้องตั้ง all the time, projecting, upwriting, setting mind, mindset, blah blah blah. That is samsara's ways. And we already have seen for eons of times how it has been messy. Let's not waste the time with that. Let's not become a burden with such mind, with such add-ons, overlaying of karma actually. So widen out without having to give names to what you see, what you look, or knowing, acknowledging. The you, the I, will dissolve right at that moment, instantly. Therefore, use the reminders to help the mind to not relying on itself with the add-ons. Everything is from the infinite, unlimited, boundless, which has nothing to do with being bound or unbound. Open up widely, showering samsara with this message. Internally say this, and all samsaras, humans and non-humans, will hear. And incorporate it with water blessing, as already mentioned in other sessions before. And we all know that those who do it, share it, know the outcome without having to check and try to know. More often, day and night, as possible. Enable to bless. Enable to bless. Otherwise, the wish to help others can only be a wish. And the action of helping by using loving kindness that is still fixated to itself cannot end anything. It just stuck in its projection because that is the mind. This has nothing to do with faith or disfaith. It has nothing to do with any concepts, belief or disbelief. Any perspective or without perspective. Keep widening out, expanding out through the infinite. That which is not about being finite or infinite or infinite. Further and further. Everything, everything, everything. Simultaneously proceeding with everything all together. Because this vessel is also including in everything. Therefore, it dissolves the idea of separation. The idea of discrimination is dissolved. The idea about good and bad is a separation, or even neutral is also a separation. It is samsara in itself. It's the projecting mind. It's the grasping mind. That's the burden. By reminding with everything is from, not attached to the non-attachment itself. Everything is from, disengaged from disengagement itself. Everything is from that which has nothing to do with being bound or unbound. It dissolves samsara, projecting minds, grasping minds, instantly. So let's expand it longer and longer so that there is no gap. The shower will be endless. Shower of the infinite power will be endless. Samsara is turning, transcending naturally. Into the land of the great compassion, of nothingness, of Mahasunyata. Keep opening widely. Keep opening widely. Because the mind likes to follow, because it has the patterns of relying. So it follows. So we can guide the mind to follow something that is about giving from the great compassion of nothingness, of Mahasunyata Nibbana, instead of trying to get, to gain, to obtain, to maintain, to sustain, which is a burden of the mind. And it creates samsara in itself. It is a trap. So let's go further. Use the reminders. Any sentence will do. Open up. Widely open. Infinite shower of nothingness for all and everything. So let's move on. Open up widely and widely, wider and wider. Let's not become a burden, like a slave to what one believes or disbelieves. To having faith or no faith. And this is not about having freedom or no freedom, liberating or not liberating. Or even in the place of the indifference. Such whirlpool of the mind doesn't help. So widen out through the infinite power of nothingness. Further and further.